who you just saw. We'll talk plenty about him and the abilities that Aaron just detailed when they have the ball, but he'll be watching with the rest of us as Matt Ryan and this Atlanta offense tries to get a win after a disappointing game in New Orleans a week ago. A win and they're in. Glad you're with us today on Fox, and there's what's at stake. The Panthers clinched the division with a win and a Saints loss, and the Falcons a wild card berth with a win or a Seattle loss. Seattle plays at home right now against Arizona. And the opening drive for the reigning NFL MVP, Matt Ryan, guiding this offense, part of the reigning NFC champion Atlanta Falcons, will start at the 25. We'll see what his record has been, and the Falcons' record over the last 4 games: the 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for what was a Falcons franchise record-setting offense a year ago. Devontae Freeman gets it, and he will take it out to the 28, a gain of 3. And we'll talk about this offense that gets Andy Levitre back up at left guard.
Well, that helps him out. Ben Garland, who had stepped in there at left guard the last couple of weeks, he's been okay, but he's not Andy Levitre. And when you're playing in a game of this magnitude, you like to have your veteran guys out there, and he should certainly help.
Second down and 7. Play action from Ryan, who throws to the sideline, incomplete for Jones. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 for the #1 rated 3rd down offense, at least with regard to percentage in the NFL, the Falcons. And here's the defense for the Carolina Panthers, and it all circles around their great middle linebacker, Luke Kuechly.
Well, he's the real key, and then of course that front 4, and they do an outstanding job. We all know that Steve Wilks, he likes to bring some of the blitz packages here on 3rd down situations that they face now, but they're also capable of bringing pressure with just 4 guys and getting after Matt Ryan.
On 3rd down, Ryan over the middle, pass caught. Julio Jones for a 1st down. Good coverage, great throw.
Good protection for Matt Ryan there in the middle, and you're going to see as Julio Jones, he motions down, and he's able to get pretty good release working against Captain Munnerlyn, and a well-placed ball, and Munnerlyn gets away with a grab as well, but a nice conversion to start this ball game.
They're at 45% for the year. That's catch number 84, as you see, for Julio Jones. Back to the play action, back to Jones, and the big hit. Pass is incomplete. Mike Adams delivered the hit, and Julio Jones slow to get up.
You see as Julio Jones comes across, and Adams he's the deep middle safety. He reads it perfectly and then times it up, and it's a clean hit. And Julio Jones is walking off the field
with members of the athletic training staff around him. A guy in Julio Jones who the last 2 home games has been dominant against Carolina, including last year. A 300-yard game. Off to the sideline he goes, 2nd and 10. Good protection. Pass is caught. Devontae Freeman to set up a manageable 3rd down. After a gain of 6, Thomas Davis on that tackle, and another look at that hit into the midsection of Jones by Mike Adams.
That was a clean hit, and it was a good call by the official. A bang-bang play, and certainly incomplete. Julio Jones, the last time these 2 teams met, he had a lot of catches, but just not a lot of yards. And since that time, over the last 8 games, he has been a real factor with the big plays for this Atlanta offense.
3rd down and 4. Show blitz, back out of it. Passes to Sanu for a 1st down inside the 35. And a good start for the Falcons on this first possession. That one good for 19 yards.
Well, Mohamed Sanu, as you see, he motions across, and he's got leverage on the defender, so he's got all that field to play with on the outside, and just nobody there to take that away, and an easy first down. You give Matt Ryan time in the pocket with these receivers. We'll find out about Julio Jones, but we're going to have a hard time slowing down this passing game.
Tevin Coleman tries the left side to the 31. Brought down by Wes Horton, a gain of 3. And Julio Jones is at least good enough to come back on the field, and they say, hey, Julio, come back.
Well, the fact that he was wanting to get out there, that's a good sign. They changed up personnel, but he's ready to go. Guy who, as we all know, he takes a beating. He's constantly banged up. He's on the injury report each and every week. He misses a lot of practice time, but it doesn't affect the chemistry from him and Matt Ryan as long as they've been doing it together.
Toss to Coleman running left, and a good play is made by Davis. A gain of just 1, and Thomas Davis is coming off that 1-game suspension, as it turned out. Initially 2 games for that hit, helmet to helmet on Davante Adams. He's fresh and showed it here.
Former first-round pick in 2005 out of Georgia, and here in his 13th season, and he took a lot of flack for that hit on Davante Adams, and a lot of people around the league, not knowing much about Thomas Davis, felt that maybe he's a dirty player, but there was no one more remorseful for the hit than he was, and they missed him last week for this defense.
Here's one to Coleman. What a throw, and the catch for a first down, and Thomas Davis is looking for a flag, and he's not going to get it.
Well, it's kind of a natural picking action to where they run Coleman from the backfield. The receiver comes in, and he's going to try to take out Thomas Davis across the middle, and you just got to make him go underneath. And you see that's Austin Hooper, the tight end. He's trying to, I could see where Thomas Davis is arguing, because Hooper clearly was trying to make a play on Davis. And once he has to come underneath Hooper, it gives Coleman a lot of room for that completion.
On first down, dropped off for Freeman over the middle, gets a block, touchdown.
Well, we talk about the pressure packages that Steve Wilks likes to bring. He prefers a 5-man rush. They bring 5 guys on this play, but Ryan is able to step up, takes a hit at the end, but he finds Freeman underneath, and Hooper, he's able to get enough of his man to give Freeman a place to go for the touchdown.
His first touchdown reception of the year, a 19-yarder. And good news for the Falcons, bad news for the Seahawks. A 10-play drive covering 75 yards. Here's the last 19 of those yards. Reaction from Kinkley, 7-0 Atlanta. See the comparison with these quarterbacks when they've gone head-to-head. Cam Newton is actually from South Atlanta. He's gone 2-4 here in Atlanta. 6-7 overall. See that bottom line, though, and that's the difference maker for Cam Newton, the rushing yardage and the rushing touchdowns. Most all time with 54 for a quarterback. He does so many things that don't really show up in the quarterback rating or the completion percentage, but he's compiled a lot of wins.
Yeah, it's really unfair to him that as much as he does running the football, you're right, it doesn't show up in the quarterback rating, and oftentimes that's the only measurement that we put on these quarterbacks.
So a touchback here, and let's go back to the play that Thomas Davis was arguing with the official.
Thomas Davis is right here. He's locked up on Coleman, and you're going to see as he pulls out to cover Coleman, there goes Austin Hooper and trying to run the natural pick, but Hooper does look him up. Now, there's not much contact there, but it was right on the Carolina sidelines, and Ron Rivera wanted the call. And, Mike, we talked about it there at the commercial break.
And I think he should have gotten the call. Look, it's a tough one because it's a timing play. The block does occur before the pass is touched. It's not big, but it's enough to free the receiver. So I really do think that should have been offensive pass interference.
That's the voice of Mike Pereira, who's thankfully with us here in Atlanta today. First down, Carolina from their 25. Newton flushed out to his right and just throws it away. Before the game, it was surprising to see Jonathan Stewart on the inactive list. His back seized up on him before this game, so Jonathan Stewart missing this game. And that puts more of a premium on the ground game of a guy like Christian McCaffrey and one of these other backs to fill in.
Yeah, we all know what the running game means to this Carolina offense, and what exactly is Stewart's absence going to mean as far as how they divvy up the carries. It's hard to imagine McCaffrey getting more touches than he does already, but that certainly might be the case in the run game.
Here's Kalen Clay on an end around, and he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, and the first guy there was Brooks Reed.
When you play Carolina, you better be ready for the misdirections, and when you have contained on the backside of these plays, you better stay home. And Brooks Reed does an excellent job. And in watching him this year and really getting ready for this ball game, Joe, I like the way he plays. He is a all-out, high-intensity player, and he comes up big there on second down.
Third down and 12. Blitz. Newton out to his left, incomplete, and it's 3 and out. McCaffrey the target. Fourth down.
They run a little game up front. They got the rookie Takk McKinley, who's had a nice season. They run a twist right here, and you're going to see McKinley then come up the middle, and he's the one who then forces Cam Newton out. And a 3 and out for this Atlanta defense.
Takk McKinley's a big guy, but he can move. They like speed over size on this Atlanta defense. McKinley, 6'2", 250, their first round pick from UCLA. Roberts, flag down. Rare is it to have a punt where you don't see a flag. And this is a hold against Atlanta.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 34. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
They get Brian Poole for that hold. Falcons have the ball, needing a win, up by 7. Welcome back. Aaron Andrews, already bad news for the Atlanta offensive line.
Yeah, there's left guard Andy Levitri. He is questionable to return with a tricep injury. That's the same tricep injury that's affected him these last 3 games. He tried to give it a go. It flared up. They've got ice taped around him, hoping he can come back, Joe.
Yeah, he's got a tear in there. It happened early December against Minnesota. He's missed the previous 3 games, so Ben Garland back to work. Ryan, good protection again. Breaks down for a moment. Addison can't bring him down, and Ryan just throws it away. Gabriel the target. 2nd and 10.
Well, the last time these two teams met, Matt Ryan was sacked just 2 times in that game, and yet he was under a lot of pressure. And like I talked about, if they give him time in the pocket, he will torch this defense throwing the football. But with Andy Levitri going out, certainly that's a blow to this offensive front. But already Matt Ryan, he has been under some pressure at times.
Jameis Winston got him last week for 367 in the secondary for Carolina. Pass is caught. Julio Jones with another Atlanta first down. Let's go to Kurt Menefee with the game break.
Well, if Atlanta loses, they can still make the playoffs if Seattle also loses. The Seahawks not cooperating right now. That's Tyler Lockett. 99 yards on the kickoff return against Arizona for the score. And that one's all tied at 7 midway through the first quarter. Joe, Troy, Aaron, and Mike.
Kurt, thanks. Falcons scored on their first possession. They're 3-0 this year when they've scored on their opening drive. Pass to Sanu. It's a block from Julio Jones. Not every wide receiver is willing to participate in the blocking scheme, but that's something that these wide receivers do very well with Atlanta.
Yeah, they do, and they have been doing that for a while. It certainly was a big part of Kyle Shanahan's offense. It has continued, here with Steve Sarkisian in his first season. And it all ties in together. Certainly, they like to run the football. What they like in the passing game is the hard play action, and if as a receiver, you can make it look like a run, and you got chances for big plays, and they typically get them.
Coleman right side, gets the edge, gets around Kuechly and has a first down. Some pretty good 1-2 punches with regard to running backs in the NFC South. No combo better than what they have in New Orleans with Ingram and Kamara, but this one's good with Coleman and Devontae Freeman.
Well, it's really good. And then on the other side with the rookie Christian McCaffrey and the things that he's able to do. These are three really dynamic running backs that we're getting an opportunity to watch today.
Ryan is ready to launch one, and instead he chucks it out of bounds.
Talk about Devontae Freeman and all that he can do running the football, and then of course as a receiver, and then sometimes you got to do the dirty work too, and he does enough. I mean, he stands in there and he takes on Shaq Thompson, and it's, that's usually a pretty effective block and gives your quarterback time to get the ball out. Just nowhere for Ryan to throw it. Devontae Freeman, he's had a tough little run here the last couple of weeks, putting the ball on the ground, and he's been working on it this week in practice.
4 fumbles over his last 3 games. Ryan throws it flat-footed to Freeman out on the edge. What a move! Out across the 45 as he went around Jarris Byrd. Gain of 7.
Carolina is so sound within their scheme, and they do like to play some man-to-man coverage, but even within their zones, the underneath guys, the linebackers, they're really good at sniffing out those intermediate routes and getting under them. And already a couple times, Matt Ryan thought he was prepared to pull the trigger, and it just was not there because color flashes, and he's had to drop it underneath.
Third down and 3. Freeman out of the backfield, nowhere to go. Well played by Carolina. It's 4th down. Darrell Worley was the first one there, but he wasn't alone. A loss of 2.
It looked like a breakdown on that left side with Jake Matthews, and you had 2 guys blocking 1 defender, and Wes Horton is the one who's able to come off the edge and get a clean shot on Matt Ryan. That play had no opportunity whatsoever, simply because Ryan had no chance to even survey the field downfield.
So Bosher to punt with Kalen Clay, who has 1 punt return for a touchdown. It came in a win at the Jets. End over end, Clay, a fair catch. The 17. Here's that hit by Horton on Matt Ryan. He was looking for a flag, didn't get it. Panthers have the ball. It's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and a welcome back to you. We're in downtown Atlanta. Bad news for the Falcons, another injury, and this time it's receiver Taylor Gabriel covering the punt.
Yeah, I think that's fairly significant too. He's a good little player, a guy who can really burn, and you lose him, and then you're looking at Justin Hardy as the guy who's going to have to serve as that 3rd wide receiver.
Newton keeps wide open to the near side of the field, and a big carry for Cam Newton, who had 86 yards rushing the first time these 2 teams met. Here's Carissa Thompson with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. We go to Tampa Bay. After the Bucs scored on the opening drive, Alvin Kamara responds with a 106-yard kickoff return. So, of course, we know the Saints clinched the NFC South with a win in this one. Game all tied up at 7. Joe?
How about that? Lockett goes 99 yards, and in the other game, Kamara goes 106. First down, Carolina. McCaffrey on a toss, running right. Blocking got out there in front of him. And McCaffrey is ripped to the ground by Ataba Rubin after a gain of 8. And the offense is again missing Trey Turner, a two-time Pro Bowler at right guard. Still not cleared from the concussion protocol, so Silatolu gets the start at right guard, and there's the fullback. As we said, there's no Jonathan Stewart available today.
As you said, Silatolu's done a really nice job stepping in for Trey Turner at right guard, and hey, Mike Shula, their offensive coordinator, a lot of different personnel packages.
McCaffrey carries for a first down. Just to finish the narrative with Taylor Gabriel, as you said, that doesn't look good at all, as he is slow to get to the locker room here in Atlanta.
Yeah, it looks like his afternoon is finished. And you know, talk about these personnel packages that Carolina likes to use. They don't have any household names like Julio Jones of Atlanta, but you know, these guys are talented, just inexperienced, but they're going to rely on a lot of different people, not always receivers. They'll go 2 tight end packages, they'll use 2 running backs.
Pass broken up. Clay the target, and Alford got his hand in there to break it up. And now the defense for the Atlanta Falcons. They are the number 10 ranked defense overall. They're pretty good up front. As you look at the linebacker level, and we'll see Vic Beasley Jr. a lot in this game at defensive end where he played last year.
Yeah, they used him a little bit when they had some injuries at outside linebacker. He was having to drop some into coverage, but he is a pass rusher, as we know, and they finally just said that's all he's going to do.
Newton throws, broken up. Funchess the target, Alford again. 3rd down and 10. And Newton has started this game 0 for 4 throwing it.
Well, you can see Alford, he's anticipating the route. I mean, sometimes from film study you see the splits and you anticipate inside breaking routes, but as soon as the ball was snapped, he's jumping to the inside, and they're fortunate that that's all that happened was an incompletion.
Newton looking out at Funchess and the other 2 receivers. Play clock at 3. Gunned over the middle. Pass broken up. Trufant. Funchess the target.
Well, this is not Carolina's game when you get to 3rd and 10 and you see Trufant. He might have gotten there a little bit early from that shot. It looked like he might have played through. There's clearly contact along the right shoulder pad of Devin Funchess, and I think that should have drawn a penalty.
Mike Pereira agrees with him. He's nodding down there. But no flag. And the punt from Pilardi. Roberts with a fair catch out across his own 20. 3rd time the Falcons will have it. The lead remains 7 on New Year's Eve. Early game headlines and headliners from Week 17. The Vikings, they win. They beat Chicago. They are the number 2 seed in the NFC. They have a 1st-round bye. The song remains the same in the AFC. The Patriots number 1, the Steelers number 2. And because the Steelers won at Cleveland, welcome to the club, say the Detroit Lions. The only other 0-16 team from back in 2008.
Pretty crazy. We saw in all these pregame shows all the discussion about what coaches were in trouble and who would be potential candidates, and pretty surprising what's happened there in Cleveland, and they've already announced Hugh Jackson's job is safe.
1-31 over 2 years is Jackson and the Cleveland Browns. Here's Freeman over the right side. Dragged to the ground by Vernon Butler, a gain of just 2.
I tell you, rushing yards are hard to come by against this Carolina defense. And looking back, the last time these 2 teams met, Atlanta struggled running the football against them. And like I said, if they can protect Matt Ryan, they certainly like the matchups as they should on the outside. The first drive was pretty clean for him, but the last possession they had, they got after him pretty good.
throw to Freeman. Looking for blocking out on the edge. He got it. He's got the first down and more out near midfield. 26-yard catch and run by Devontae Freeman.
Carolina likes to hug up these linebackers in the line of scrimmage, and they make you get the ball out quick, and they'll certainly challenge your protections, but Ryan gets it out quickly to Freeman, and these are some of the things that he can do within the passing game. He can run routes like a wide receiver. They say he would be a Cole Beasley type guy if all he did was play wide receiver. You talked about that blocking by the wide receivers. Julio Jones, he helps give Freeman a chance.
Freeman's busy. Over the left side, got two. Thursday night on FS1, college basketball tips off at 7:30 Eastern as Maryland looks to upset Miles Bridges. And the second-ranked Michigan State Spartans there, John Smoltz. I know you'll be watching that. College basketball on FS1, or you can stream it live on Fox Sports Go. So at midfield, leading by 7, a win, and they're in the playoffs as the number 6 seed. Ryan slings it, pass off the hands of Sanu. Good coverage out there by James Bradbury.
Yeah, really good coverage, and that's one that as a quarterback I can tell you is pretty frustrating, because Carolina, they bring the heat once again. They've gotten home, but really the entire middle of the field right there is open. And if you can just get a guy in there and hit him in stride, it is off to the races.
Now 3rd down and 8. 3 for 4 on 3rd down so far is Atlanta. Launched. Jones. Incomplete. Mike Adams down there defending. It's 4th down.
Well, Carolina mixing up the coverages, and they start with Mike Adams up near the line of scrimmage like they may get that single look to Julio Jones, and then he pulls out and he serves as a double. And there's not a lot of times that Julio Jones gets an opportunity to see single coverage, and he's expecting it, and well played there on 3rd down to force a punt.
Mike Adams is no kid. He's 36 years old. He's played 14 years in the NFL. Bosher just got rid of it. Kalen Clay, a fair catch at the 9. Well, what's gone on this year for Carolina? They started 4-1. Ron Rivera in his 7th season. Then Greg Olson was injured early. Missed 9 games total. Kelvin Benjamin was traded. They've won 7 of their last 8, 6 of 7 since that trade. But the problem for them with regard to the division and the Saints is they were swept by New Orleans this year.
Yeah, they have. Look at Ron Rivera and a great job he's done since coming here to Carolina, and they overcame a lot this year, and I applaud him for holding it together. Well, they lose their GM to start the season. They've had some injuries. Of course, they trade their number 1 wide receiver, and then we all know what's going on currently with their ownership, and yet he's continued to keep them on path.
Handoff is to Artis Payne, and he has a nice start to this drive as he picks up 12. Carissa Thompson has a game break. Carissa.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, we go back to Tampa Bay. I showed you that first Kamara touchdown. Well, guess what? Here's another one, capping off this drive with a 7-yard run. He's having himself a day already. Saints lead 14-7. Joe?
They're going to be dangerous in the postseason. I feel like everybody talks around New Orleans, but with that running back situation in Breeze, a better defense, they'll travel too.
I agree, and I think Breeze, all those things are true. You can look into a lot of things, but Breeze, being the veteran that he is, gives them an advantage over some of these other teams currently in the NFC playoffs.
Here's a ball on the ground. Artis Payne couldn't come up with it cleanly, and he'll lose yardage.
Well, we were talking about with Jonathan Stewart down, who's going to then make up for some of those lost carries by him, and Cameron Artis Payne, he's getting his opportunities, just does not look at him.
Under a half minute to go, opening quarter here in Atlanta. 7-0 Falcons. Cam looked right, throws left, passes out of bounds for Funchess. And it'll be 3rd and 14 when the second quarter begins. 7-0 Atlanta on top. A win and they are back in the postseason. America's Game of the Week. Back after this from your local Fox station. 7-0 game as the second quarter is about to get underway. There was some discussion during the week as to whether there would be a big home field advantage here in Atlanta, $1.5 billion stadium. It's beautiful. I mean, they couldn't have done a better job. But will it be loud? I think so far, so good. It's been loud, and Cam Newton off to his worst career start, 0 for 6, facing 3rd and 14. Pressure off the edge. Pass is too high for Olsen, who gets popped by Neal. And Olsen thought the hit was too high. It's 4th down.
I thought it was close. We'll see at the end of this play. No chance of completing that one. He clearly comes in defenseless receiver, and there's contact to the helmet.
Mike Pereira, is that what you saw over there?
That's exactly what I see. He's defenseless. You can't hit him in the head or neck area with your helmet, shoulder, or forearm. And to me, that is a foul and should have been called.
I think Greg Olsen wants the official to watch the game. Velarde hits it. Roberts on the return from inside the 25 with some room. Out near the 44. 22-yard return. The crowd's been into it so far, Aaron.
Yeah, and there was a lot of talk, would this be an early game, a 1 o'clock game, or maybe would it be an 8:30 game? I know this is a shock, but Dan Quinn was pumped. It was moved to 4:25. He thought, this would give a chance for the fans to marinate, so to speak, Joe, out there, get some liquid excitement, be ultra loud. Grady Jarrett saying, hey, that helps on 3rd down. If we're tired and fans are getting after it, kind of pumps us up a little bit.
Yeah, Dan was definitely pumped coming into this game. There was a hold on Atlanta on that punt return, and after a 22-yard return that would have given Atlanta great field position. At the moment, they have the ball moving back inside the 20, back inside the 15, and placed at the 12.
A little follow-up on that with Aaron Andrews. When I asked Dan Quinn about the home field advantage when you move into a big stadium like this, he said initially, early in the season, they didn't have it. He said it would be like Arthur Blank opening his $1 million home to people to come in and have a party, and you take your shoes off at the door and you put coasters on the coffee table, and he says, but now they're throwing red Solo cups around and they're having a ball. So he's noticed a big shift in the crowd here in Atlanta with this new beautiful stadium that they opened up.
Falcons lost 32 yards of field position on that hold. On the punt return, there's Thomas Davis bringing down Devontae Freeman after a gain of 2, and here's Carissa with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. We go up to Seattle. Some good news for those Falcons fans. Cardinals up 10-7 in the second when Elijah Penny runs up the middle for this 4-yard score. Cardinals lead 17-7. Joe?
We were there last week when Seattle won on the road in Dallas to give the Seahawks hope, but that's not good at home when you need to win, and you're getting beat by a sub-500 Arizona team.
But Bruce Arians said that's their home. Well, he said that this week. so far today, he's right.
2nd and 8. Underneath Freeman. Get him to the cold tub after this one. He is working. Davis on the tackle, a yard or so shy of a 1st down after a gain of 7.
That is a pretty good matchup with Thomas Davis. As you said, I mean, he's no young guy, but yet he can still really run, and it's because of his play, as good as he's continued to be, that Shaq Thompson, hasn't gotten more of the work at the linebacker position in some of their nickel packages when they don't put him in.
Wildcat formation with Matt Ryan at the top of the screen. Sanu takes the snap, keeps it, and doesn't get it. So all the trickery, and that didn't fool anybody. And when you've got Luke Kuechly in the middle of all that, good luck trying to trick a Carolina defense. It's 4th down. Matt Ryan told us that Kuechly is so smart in the middle that sometimes it's better just to line up and go. If you try to show different looks and you try to trick this defense, he'll figure you out. And Luke Kuechly went right around a block and figured out Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, he went right past right tackle Ryan Schrader, and I'm sure Matt Ryan, when it works, it's great, but when it doesn't, you take the ball out of your hands, and that's not a good feeling.
Bosher hits a boomer, and that'll be a flag. Play called for the fair catch, and he was interfered with by DeMonte KZ. "54-yard punt," and this will be Atlanta's 3rd special teams penalty.
Fair catch interference. Kicking team number 27. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
So good field position for Carolina when we come back as they trail by 7. Well, here's an interesting list. Quarterbacks to lead their team in rushing. You go back to Bobby Douglas with Chicago, Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Cam Newton in 2012, and he is the leading rusher in 2017, and the same for Russell Wilson in Seattle.
Yeah, well, with Jonathan Stewart being down today, he will finish the season as the team's leading rusher. That's awfully impressive, and obviously what he means to them. But I want to go back to the penalty on the punt return team by Atlanta, and then the penalty when they punted. That's significant yards in setting Carolina up here almost at midfield for this drive.
Quick throw and no catch. The call is incomplete. It should be. And finally, one of the officials says incomplete, as Christian McCaffrey couldn't haul it in. And question early as to whether that was a lateral. It was not. 0 for 8 today. It's the worst start in Carolina Panthers history. And the first NFL quarterback to start a game with 8 or more incompletions since 2008. Ironically, it was Matt Ryan against Tampa Bay in his rookie year. 2nd and 10. Handoff is to Fozzie Whitaker. Nothing.
I will say this, Joe, that when you talk about Carolina, some things just don't apply to them offensively because of what we talked about a moment ago and the ability that Cam Newton has as a runner. But there's no question that you look at what they've done here over their last 3 possessions, the reason that they've had to punt is they have been 3rd and long in each one of them, and they're 3rd and 10 here again on their 4th possession. But 3rd down passing has been a struggle for Cam Newton this year.
They haven't had less than 3rd and 10 yet, and it will be another punt as the pass is broken up for Olsen. Defending Robert Alford. And the Panthers getting nothing done on offense.
No, tight coverage. I don't know that Olsen gets the 1st down anyway, even if he's able to make that catch. You see, he gets to the sticks, but when he comes back, Alford is right there on him, and certainly a frustrated Greg Olsen.
Another punt from Pilardi. Big heavy rush, and the Panthers pick it up. Andre Roberts scoots up to the 24 for a fair catch. The Falcons have it again, leading by 7. 7-0 Atlanta on top. They have the ball. We welcome you back inside the booth. Tune in at halftime when Troy and I will switch jackets.
Well, they keep me in between you two. That's what they need to do.
Where's your plaid jacket?
Yeah, it's here.
I know.
Mike Pereira is with us, and I'm glad you show up any day, but you show up today on a game where we have a crew that you really like with Bill Vinovich.
I do like the crew, and Vinovich came into the truck and was talking about how they're number one in the least amount of penalties that have been called, and I think we know why now, because it was kind of a rough go in that first quarter with a couple of pass interference misses and the hit on Olsen.
That was a subtle shot. These refs can't get a break.
From the 25, Tevin Coleman makes a move in the hole, takes it up just shy of the 30. Aaron, you sensing anything down there with that Carolina offense?
Well, Dan Quinn wanted the crowd to get fiery. How about Cam Newton here at his bench? This was just moments ago, in so many words, telling guys, someone make a play here. Let's go. And, it was Greg Olsen who walked over after the offense came off the field, and he was just ticked off to clean it up for you guys. But Cam really getting after his offense right there.
So far, he has yet to complete a pass. Nothing sustained on offense. Atlanta hasn't done much since their opening possession touchdown. 2nd and 5. Coleman again cuts back. Goes down just short of first down yardage, it appears, unless they're generous here with the spot. We'll see. And the guy coming in from the near side was generous, and it'll be a first down.
Good job just being able to turn back and hand it to Tevin Coleman and pick up that first down. This is a Carolina defense this year that has benefited by the ability of their offense to run the football. The Carolina Panthers are second in the NFL in time of possession. The Panthers defense has had the second fewest defensive snaps. So when they're not getting first downs and this defense is having to play a little bit more, they have given up yardage.
Play action from Ryan, throws it out of bounds as Darryl Worley comes down with it. He was in coverage on Julio Jones.
Another thing about this Carolina defense is in the last couple of weeks, this has always been a team that's kind of prided themselves on not giving up a lot of big plays, but they've given up more big plays, and big plays being defined by gains of 20 yards or more. They've given up more than anybody in football here in the last 2 weeks, and Steve Wilks knows that this Atlanta offense, that's what they're kind of built on, is their ability to drive the ball down the field. We see them try to take a shot to Julio earlier where they had it covered well.
This one, nothing able to materialize as Devontae Freeman catches it on a skip. As Matt Ryan just threw it away. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
And if I'm Matt Ryan and Dan Quinn, I'm a little concerned right now, in all honesty. The last time these two teams played, Atlanta jumped out 10-0 in that ball game, only to find themselves down 14-10 at halftime, ultimately losing the game. But for their defense to be doing as well as they have done after that opening possession, like you said, they just really have not been able to get it going.
Carolina backs out of the blitz. 3rd down and 10. Ryan Chase throws high and incomplete for Sanu. And so now it's a 3 and out for Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense.
Well, that time Wilks on 3rd down, and there goes Freeman. And we've already seen Julio Jones banged up, but they bring a 4-man rush, and you see that it has an effect on Matt Ryan, and that's the luxury that Carolina has. They don't always have to bring an extra guy in order to try to get in his face.
It's a 4th straight 3rd down stop by the Panthers defense. Good punt. Clay from inside the 15 on the punt from Bosher. Can't make it to the 25. Well played. Duke Riley on the tackle. Falcons and the Panthers last met in Charlotte back in week 9. 5th of November, Atlanta, as you said, jumped out to that 10-0 lead early. Behind a strong running effort from Cam Newton, the Panthers were able to go ahead. With the Falcons trailing, Julio Jones with a crucial drop wide open behind the defense in the fourth quarter, and the Panthers won that game by 3.
Well, we'll see if that sideline talk with the offense that Cam Newton gave, if we see some better results on this drive.
Cameron Artis-Payne gets a couple. You know, you talked about Ron Rivera getting credit. I think Cam Newton deserves a lot of credit. It's an 11-win team. They lost Ryan Khalil, their 5-time Pro Bowl center, for 10 starts. They've been without Trey Turner now for 3 straight games. Greg Olson's been inactive for 9 games, was on IR for a while. They've lost receivers. They traded Kelvin Benjamin, and yet they keep winning. They won 7 of 8 coming in.
I think that's well said, that they have gone through a lot, and he certainly has had to absorb the brunt of it, and he's been able to do it.
Here is McCaffrey, and he loses yardage on the first completion of the game for Cam Newton as Deion Jones knocks McCaffrey down with a loss of 2.
Deion Jones is one of the few linebackers in the NFL that's able to play a guy like Christian McCaffrey man-to-man. And he's got his eyes on McCaffrey. As soon as he comes out of the backfield, he's right there to make a play. And I'll tell you, what a player he is. And that draft class from a year ago certainly contributed last season and has been the foundation for this defense, and they've got a couple others. We've talked about Tack McKinley and then Duke Riley, who we've yet to talk about in this year's rookie class.
3rd down and 10. Newton in trouble. Gonna go. He's got a lot of room, and Cam Newton will pick up a first down for Carolina. He is rapidly approaching career highs in rushes and rush yardage in the season.
You see the pressure off Cam Newton's right side, but they collapse the left side, so there's no contain. And once he gets out to the left, there's nobody there. You see man-to-man coverage, no eyes then on Cam Newton. And the last time they played, Cam Newton, much like today, didn't do much in the passing game, but he had some big runs, and that's always a point of emphasis when you're facing Newton.
He's 2 carries and 13 rush yards away from new season highs. Here's Clay out of bounds with a first down, and here's Kurt Menefee with the game break.
All right, Carolina fans will like this. Jameis Winston, 1-yard touchdown run, his first rushing touchdown of the season. Bucs, however, missed the extra point, so the Saints still hold the lead 14-13, trying to wrap up the NFC South. So, Troy Eric.
Right now, the number 4 seed, the Rams, were losing last time I saw. They are at the moment the number 3 seed. First down, Carolina here.
Well, they split out McCaffrey, and now he's motioning back towards the formation, but a lot of times you know this is a pass for most quarterbacks. With Cam Newton, empty backfield, now they got McCaffrey in there, but you always got to be alert for the quarterback keep.
There you go. Off he goes, and they were ready. Grady Jarrett. Loss of 2.
Well, it's a numbers game, and so sometimes they'll motion McCaffrey back in, and he'll take on the linebacker. There's nobody in the middle, so he keeps him out wide, and they got 5 to block 4. But Atlanta wins inside, and Grady Jarrett, that's an excellent job on his part. I mean, it's one thing to defeat the blocker, but then you got to get Cam Newton on the ground. That's not easy to do.
2nd and 12. McCaffrey, not much up the middle. Gain of 3. It'll be 3rd down and 9 coming up from the producers of American Horror Story. And The People versus O.J. Simpson comes a new series on Fox, told through the eyes of first responders, starring Angela Bassett, Peter Krause, and Connie Britton. 9/11 series premiere Wednesday on Fox.
Tell you, Cam Newton, he kept the ball in the last 3rd down and picked it up, but another 3rd and long for this offense.
Shortest 3rd down he's faced, believe it or not. 3rd and 9, pass, Olsen, first down. And now Olsen is slow to get up.
Well, you wonder about that foot on this artificial surface. He's still recovering from that surgery. That's a pretty good matchup there with Brian Poole, and Olsen fights through the coverage. But this was a bit of a concern coming into this game by Ron Rivera as to how the ankle or how the foot would hold up on this surface.
Dan Quinn is going to challenge
Atlanta's
to make sure that Greg Olsen
completed catch. Timeout.
completed the catch and survived the ground. Here's another look. Here's the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The receiver survived the ground. A second act pulled the ball out. Atlanta is charged with the first timeout of the half.
Fans don't like it. Mike Pereira, we were talking about it during the break. We all thought catch up here. So you agree with this, sticking with the call on the field?
And he described it perfectly. He actually held onto the ball after he hit the ground, and then it got pulled out after he rolled over. And remember, the ruling on the field was a catch and a first down. That's the standard that they have to stay with. They made the right decision.
Where are we going? From the 37, a first down. McCaffrey with Burson blocking and can't sustain the block for very long. Brian Poole on the tackle, but a gain of 4.
Yeah, so Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, with that personnel package, they have both Cameron Artis-Payne and Christian McCaffrey in the game at the same time, and obviously they're using McCaffrey then as a third wide receiver in that set, and that's some of the different packages that he'll run to make up for some of the injuries that they've had at the wide receiver position.
Newton keeps, gets back to the line of scrimmage, that's it. But a flag is down in the middle of the defense.
Holding. Defense number 92. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Terry Poe guilty of a hold, and that's another first down for Carolina.
You see, he got a hold of Silatolu, and some of the gamesmanship that happens inside there in the trenches to help free up other guys to make plays.
Under 5 to go, first half. 7-0 Atlanta. They need a win to get into the playoffs. Or a Seattle loss. Newton sets up a screen. Fozzie Whitaker got a block. Takes it just inside the 20. Devondre Campbell on the tackle in a gain of 9, maybe 9.5 yards.
Well, that was set up well, and Cam Newton, he puts this ball right on the money. I mean, if that ball's not where it is, Terry Poe, he's showing some of his versatility as well, getting out there and reading the screen. But if Newton doesn't put it right where he did, Poe was there to make a play.
Aaron told us about that speech. He started, Cam did, 0 for 9, 5 for 5 since, and there's Mike Shula, who's the coordinator of this offense. Here's a toss to Artis-Payne, and he went back half a yard. Third down. Eric Shelby on the stop. You know, I know Mike Shula got a crack at it in Alabama as the head coach, and you know, with what he's done with his offense and the creativity he's shown, we talked about the injuries along the offensive line to Greg Olsen, the wide receivers. He's done a great job. I'm surprised his name doesn't come up more than it does for potential head coaching opportunities.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's really done a nice job, and at times he's had his hands tied with some of the personnel that he's had to work with.
Third down and 1. Handoff for not from where that official's running in. Cameron Artis-Payne. It's just going to depend on where they place the football.
Well, I'd have to believe that if they're short, that old Riverboat Ron is going to go for it, not give it to Cam Newton, because he's About 90% on 3rd or 4th and 1, and almost automatic.
2-minute warning in Atlanta. We'll see the call when we come back. Paging Gene Steratore in your index card. Please pick up the white courtesy phone. Gene Steratore. No index card used. But let's go back in time. First of all, 2 weeks ago, Dallas and Oakland. This got a lot of headlines. Gene Steratore folded over index card. Bill Vinovich. He's the guy who really set the mold for that back in 2013. He's the originator of the index card. He didn't have to use one, or was forbidden to, Mike Pereira. But it is 4th and inches as they marked Cameron Artis-Payne just short.
Well, they did put out the directive that said that you can't use the index card, although back in 2013 they said it was okay. But if you can't tell whether it is or not, what are you supposed to do? Guess? I personally like the index card.
I do too. I bet Vinovich is upset that he's not getting credit for that after Steratore one-upped him.
4th and inches. Is it the big body of Cam Newton to pick it up? And it is. Sure looked like he got it. And by that mark, he did. You mentioned to Troy that Cam Newton coming in. It is first down. 9 for 10 on 3rd and 1. That was 4th and less than a yard. He's just too big. You can't stop him from getting 5 or 6 inches.
Yeah, pretty tough guy to get to the ground in those situations. No doubt he was going to be the one keeping it.
He's now 2 for 2 on 4th and 1.
Yeah, now we'll see whether or not they can finish this off. They were not good in the red zone last week against Tampa Bay, just 1 for 5.
13th play of the drive. McCaffrey going backward. Neal forces him out at the 20. So a loss on the play of 2. But that stops the clock with 1:07 remaining.
That wasn't much. You lose yardage, but that was impressive for McCaffrey even to be able to get around the edge and not lose more than he did. And what a rookie season he has had. In talking with Mike Shula, I said, did you ever anticipate that he would have as many touches and be as involved as he's been this year? And they said they want him involved even more because he's able to do so much. He's so dynamic once the ball's in his hands.
2nd down and 12, and down goes Newton. Grady Jarrett.
Well, that's where they missed Trey Turner at right guard. Grady Jarrett goes right past Silatolu. That's a great job by Grady Jarrett. He's made a couple big plays already now in this game.
Atlanta takes their 2nd timeout.
He's right over the middle. You see the move that he makes, and he gets Silatolu off balance and just a straight shot. And that's the 2nd time now we've seen him make a play one-on-one on Cam Newton.
And it brings about 3rd and 23. With 1:02 left and 1 timeout for Atlanta.
Right there. They call him the truck driver, and the reason is he's such a big body there in the middle, and he clogs it up. But he, as you see, he's got the ability for a big man to still rush the passer.
34th time Newton's been sacked. Carolina will receive the 2nd half kickoff. They're trying to get points here as they trail by 7 with 1 minute left in the first half. Burson makes the catch and has a first down. Brenton Burson, a guy who's been cut 5 times, gets open and is good for 27 yards.
Well, how about the job he does coming off the line of scrimmage? He slow plays Brian Poole as he comes off the line, and Poole thinks that he's going to run a shallow route. So he starts to jump it, and when he comes to get him, that's when Burson takes it and finds the opening in that zone. And the interior pass rush, it looked like they were playing more of a spy technique as opposed to pinning their ears back, and afforded Newton a lot of time in the pocket.
What a conversion on 3rd and 23. Got 27 yards. timeout is taken by Atlanta, their final timeout. And we'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Let's go back to that completion to Brenton Burson.
Watch him come off the ball and see how he slow plays it there. He gets Poole to think that he's going to just run something shallow. He bites it and it opens up that hole between Poole and then Alford. And of course, to get a guy down the field like that, you got to have time in the pocket. And Atlanta just unable to get any interior push on that play.
3 tight ends in the game for Carolina. Cam keeps pass, caught, Funchess, touchdown. And after running 16 plays total over their first 4 drives, they have a 16-play drive for a touchdown here before the half.
Yeah, and this is one of those run-pass options that you hear so much about these days. And you're going to see these linemen, they come off the ball, and it's whether or not Newton is going to hand it off to McCaffrey. He pulls it. He likes the numbers in the passing game. And typically down here, you have the quick slants. Funchess gets inside technique on Alford, and an easy touchdown. And that talk for Cam Newton on the sidelines, it paid off, but he had to overcome 3rd and a mile to Brenton Burson.
No incompletions since that start. And that ties the game. Funchess with 8 touchdowns now on the year, and all of a sudden Cam Newton is red hot. 7 for 7 on the drive after starting the game 0 for 9. I'll tell you, the guy that set it up though was Brenton Burson, and a 27-yard catch on 3rd and 23. I said he's been cut 5 times. Kind of a running joke, and he has fun with it. He's from Carolina. He played collegiately in South Carolina at Wofford College. He grew up a Panther fan, and he keeps trying, and they keep signing him, and then somebody else comes along and they cut him, and then they sign him and cut him 5 times, and now because of injuries, he's one of their top 3 or 4 receivers.
Yeah, and Cam Newton, he's got a name for all these guys. He calls Burson Sunshine, and he's a guy who can play every position at wide receiver. In fact, talking with Ron Rivera, if he decides he wants to go into coaching, Ron Rivera, I'm not so sure wouldn't hire him right now. He thinks he's going to be a great coach one day if that's what he wants to do. Those type guys are invaluable that you can rely on, and I know Cam Newton thinks a lot of them.
We think a lot of Kurt Menefee, who will give us a sneak peek what's coming up at halftime.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll get you all set and up to date on the playoff pictures. 4 teams in the AFC for 2 spots, 2 in the NFC for only 1 spot. It's all coming up on the Visa Halftime. Baby New Year. That's a good look for you.
Happy New Year, Bert.
Tell you what a good look is, though. TB, he went high and tight, didn't he? He got a fresh haircut.
Yes, he did. Devontae Freeman has held the ball high and tight. On first down, pass is caught by Freeman. Good to see him back out there. Last time we saw him, he was limping to the sideline. He got 10. No timeouts now left for Atlanta. Here's the tight end Hooper, his first catch. He got 9.5. Brought down by Kuechly. And a timeout is taken by Carolina defensively. Their first.
Carolina.
You know, Ron Rivera doesn't want to stop the clock, but he wants to make sure his defense is set for the 2nd and 1 play with 18 seconds left. Ron Rivera has guided his team into the postseason for the 4th time in the last 5 years. And the team that went to the Super Bowl in 2015, taking on the team that went to the Super Bowl in the 2016 season here for seeding for Carolina and potentially a playoff spot for Atlanta on the line.
I guarantee you, Ron Rivera, he's talking to this defense, and they want to funnel everything inside. No timeouts. Don't let the receiver catch the ball and get out of bounds.
Second down and 1. Backpedaling as he throws incomplete for Julio Jones. Now 3rd and 1, but maybe more importantly, 13 seconds left. No timeouts. There's Matt Bryant. In case you're wondering, his career long is 62 yards, but he was a pup back then, 2006.
Well, they get a completion that gets him in range, and that clock's running. They're not going to be able to get him on the field for a shot.
He's hit a 57-yarder this year, 7 for 8 from beyond 50. They need another 20 yards or so, and they're going backward 5 because of Austin Hooper.
False start. Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
They'll be hard pressed to complete anything in play, Joe, and get up to the ball and spike it to give Bryant a chance to come out and attempt anything.
In case you're wondering, there's no 10-second runoff because the clock was already stopped. So 13 seconds remain. It's 3rd and 6. 20 yards would give Bryant a chance. Pass is caught, but in the middle of the field, it's Hooper. Can they get up and spike it? And the question is there a second left? The Panthers are heading off the field, and there's no signal.
The clock is accurate. That is the end of the first half.
And by a second or so, the Falcons did not have time to snap it, clock it, and have a chance, Mike Pereira.
I'll tell you, it is very close to having 1 second left on the clock, but let me tell you the replay rule. Replay can only get involved if there is 2 seconds left on the clock. They can't add just 1. That's the NFL rule. So the half is over at this point.
And Dan Quinn is staying out on the field to argue his point. He's told he can't challenge it, and it wouldn't be challenged from the booth. So close, but no chance. Let's take a look at some fun from Week 16. Sounds from the Field, brought to you by Walmart.com, now offering free 2-day shipping.
Hey, let's go score. Let's finish. Hey!
There's only one thing you can say.
Well, an entertaining first half. Big battle in the NFC South. Tied at 7. Kurt, guys, all yours in LA.
Let's go. Game time.
As we welcome you back to the second half on America's Game of the Week, it's a 7-7 game. The Panthers about to get the ball to start the second half. Hard to believe as you look at the first half stats that the Carolina Panthers have swept the Falcons only 3 times in a season in the Panthers' 23 years. 97, 05, 2013. Win here today, they would sweep Atlanta, but Atlanta could still get in the playoffs with a loss if Seattle loses at home to Arizona. Kalen Clay on the return out to the 22. Hello, Aaron Andrews.
Hello, Joe Buck. Ron Rivera telling me heading into the half, I asked him what changed for his offense, and he said, we started making plays. I laughed, and he said, no, seriously. He said Cam was completely off the mark. He was throwing way too high, was able to correct that late in the first half. Dan Quinn just telling me he's happy with his defense. They thought they had Cam Newton there when he converted that 3rd and a mile, as you called it. Have to continue to tackle. Still looking for that turnover. He told me he left his team with the saying, leave no doubt. But I'm cleaning it up, Joe, by the way.
Yeah, you've done that twice now.
Oh, yeah.
From the 22. Handoff to Cameron Artis-Payne over the left side. To the ground, brought down by Kamal Ishmael. A gain of 2.
You know, when you have a powwow like Cam Newton had there in that second quarter, prior to that touchdown drive, and you start, talking to the other 10 guys on that offense about elevating their play, well, then you have to do that as well. And he certainly did. 7 for 7 on that scoring drive and to 6 different receivers. So he was spreading the ball around and did a nice job. Now he gets another opportunity to open up this second half.
The Saints with only a 1-point lead at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So opportunities still out in front of Carolina, and that was not close.
Not close, and yet sometimes you see this with Carolina. Funchess, he's running around out there on that sidelines, and that's right where Greg Olsen is running. And so you got man coverage, but essentially 2 receivers in the same spot, and that's never a good thing. So looked like Funchess should have maybe cleared that area out. A big third down here for Atlanta to kind of set the tone in this second half.
If Carolina wins this game and New Orleans loses, Carolina wins the division. Tied here, 1-point game there. Pass to McCaffrey. Nothing after the catch. Wrapped up by Deion Jones. It's 3 and out to start this second half for Carolina.
Well, Marquand Manuel, the defensive coordinator, he brings Brian Poole off the slot, and he's unblocked. And so you've got to be able to actually able to get a running back over. But Cam Newton acted as though he didn't know he was blocked, and so he gets the ball out quick to McCaffrey, and they come up and make a tackle, and they make a key stop then on third down.
Hits the punt with Roberts back inside the 25. A little room in front of him. Stays on his feet. Flag is down. Great effort by Andre Roberts, but you get the feeling it's coming back. We'll find out. 48-yard punt. Good 23-yard return, but early indication is it's against Atlanta. That's 2 good returns he will have eliminated by penalty.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 53. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
It's Leroy Reynolds with that block on Shaq Thompson. Atlanta with the ball in a 7-7 game. Injury update. That's the word that you get from the sideline. Questionable for Levitri and Gabriel. Neither looks like they are close to returning. As Atlanta gets the ball 7-7. The Carolina Panthers have not been flagged in this game for an infraction. The Falcons, 6 penalties. 4 of the 6 have come on special teams. Latest one backs him up to the 20 and a loss of 1 as Devontae Freeman is dragged down by Luke Kuechly and K'Wan Short.
Well, Kuechly is so quick at play recognition, and he just does not waste any steps. I mean, you can see him right in the middle, 59, and here he comes, and there is nobody with a chance to get on him. And I can assure you, if you don't block him, he's going to be making tackles on the other side of the line of scrimmage. He's as quick a linebacker as there is in all of football. Ron Rivera said he's the fastest first step guy he's ever seen, and that's coming from someone who had a nice career himself as a linebacker in the NFL.
Here's a toss to Freeman running right. Broke 1 tackle. Davis there. If it's not Kuechly, it's Davis. And Luke Kuechly, who has 5 tackles in this game, is the #1 tackler in the league since his rookie year of 2012. And yeah, his head coach, Ron Rivera, was a 2nd-round pick out of Cal back in '84 by the Bears. Johnny Rowland told our editorial consultant, Steve Horn, that Rivera came in, he was so smart, it was an intricate system. He learned all 3 linebacker positions and was ready to go right out of the gate. Pass is caught by Julio Jones for a first down, and finally a little breathing room for Atlanta, but Julio Jones comes out of that play limping a bit.
Well, and good luck covering Julio Jones when you give Matt Ryan that kind of protection. He gets Darryl Worley completely turned around, and the reason he does it, as soon as a wide receiver, you threaten the defensive back with speed, and Julio Jones certainly has it, then when he gets the hips turned, there's no chance whatsoever to cover him once he comes out on the break.
Pass caught by Sanu. Falcons move the ball so well their first possession, really nothing since, and they gain a little traction here.
Well, Matt Ryan threw the ball 26 times in that first half, and as you would expect, they didn't run the ball very effectively. And it's all going to be Matt Ryan if they're going to get the ball down the field and score points. And so with that being said, it's all about pass protection. And he's gotten a little bit of it here on this drive.
Hand off to Coleman running right. Knocked down near the marker by Keithley. A gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down and a yard, maybe even less than a yard for Atlanta in this tie game. First possession for the Falcons. Quarterback by Matt Ryan. One of 2 quarterbacks in NFL history to go over 40,000 yards in the first 10 years of their career.
You better block that guy there if you're going to pick up this first down.
Empty backfield. And flags before the snap.
Full start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, Ryan was just going to come up, snap it, and try to pick up the first down, but a false start on Ryan Schrader.
There's just too many penalties. You get down here 3rd and 1, and you're playing at home, and a false start backs you up. Last week they had 10 penalties. They had so many penalties on one possession. At one point it was 1st and 40. But you just can't have the penalties that they've had in this game when you're playing in meaningful games.
Third down and 6. Pressure off the edge. Pass caught by Jones. First down at the Carolina 45. 15 yards on 3rd and 6.
Great job by Matt Ryan. Mario Addison comes off the edge, and this is a quarterback who's not staring at the rush. He's just feeling it. As he moves up in the pocket, eyes are down the field, and he's able to find Julio Jones for the first down.
If you're staring at the rush, you're dead, right?
Generally, yeah, you just can't do it. I mean, there are guys in this league that do stare at the rush, and those are the guys generally that are scrambling and running with the football and not making plays like we just saw.
Has yet to be sacked, Matt Ryan. Here's Hardy out on the edge. Getting a chance with the injury to Gabriel. And Justin Hardy gets 17.
Justin Hardy, his importance certainly gets elevated, as you said, without Gabriel. A nice design there. They start him to the one side of the formation, run him all the way across on the boot. Pick up a nice gain.
To Freeman. Ryan steps through the rush. Turned it into a positive play. Shaq Thompson on the stop, a gain of 2.
Matt Ryan at the end of that play, he was kind of grabbing his wrist. He took a shot there by Shaq Thompson at the end of the play.
Wrist and forearm. Got the helmet from Shaq Thompson. 2nd and 8. Ryan, little pump fake, first down inside the 15 near the 12. And he faked Keithley to pick up 13.
Really good by Matt Ryan, and you can see the outside pressure, and as things open up, you know, Keithley is still there in zone coverage, so he's got his eyes on him, and you don't see many quarterbacks be able to make Luke Kuechly miss.
See the right hand up to the helmet by James Bradbury. At the end of that run, it's a first down at the 12. Freeman gets it left side, knocked down by K'Wan Short.
K'Wan Short is one of those defensive linemen that is awfully impressive too. When you think about the great defensive tackles in our game, the interior defensive linemen that are able to play the run and get pressure on the quarterback. Certainly Aaron Donald for the LA Rams is as good as there's ever been, and K'Wan Short is another one of those outstanding players.
Matt Ryan now 7th season with 4,000 plus passing yards. Tied for the 5th most all time. He just went over. On second down, passes to the end zone. Caught for the touchdown, Sanu. How did he hang on? Luke Kuechly is still arguing that that ball hit the turf, but the call is touchdown.
That is such good coverage by Luke Kuechly, but the reason you're able to make this play, Sanu's not able to get to the middle, and that's where he's trying to get. That's why two receivers, he and Julio Jones, are in the same spot. Matt Ryan essentially throws Sanu open. Now, does he catch the ball?
That ball looks like it may come out, and it does. It comes out right there. Kuechly saw it. That's why he was arguing. That ball's on the turf.
Well, they'll be reviewing this, and yeah, it looks like
the previous play is under review.
Definitely coming back.
Looks like the backside of Julio Jones knocks the ball out of the arms of Sanu, and then he cradles it, Troy, against his body at the bottom of that pile.
Well, no one had a better look than Kuechly. I mean, he's staring at it right there. That was such a great throw by Ryan to even give Sanu a chance for the play.
That ball looks to be out.
Yeah.
With every angle we've seen right there, rolling on the ground. Mike Pereira, you see it that way?
Yeah, I do, and that's that last shot that we just looked at. You know, you're looking at first just to see if the ball did hit the ground. Did he have control first? You see the point of the ball hitting the ground, and then the ball popped loose. The old going to the ground thing, and to me this ball does come loose. He loses possession, so I like this as an incomplete pass.
And that's the best look at it right there. And then from the reverse side, you see the ball on the ground as Julio Jones is the one that knocked it out. Kuechly knew it. He's basically doing a somersault, looking right at the ball on the ground. He knew. The play was a 2nd and 10 from the 12. Here's the call.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. Is an incomplete pass.
Sanu doesn't argue. He knew it. Kuechly was right. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, Luke Kuechly, you know, what can you say about him that hasn't been said? He does it all, and we've talked a lot about him in this game. He just seems to always be where the ball is, but that was excellent coverage on his part, understanding where the weakness was in that defense and him completely taking it away. Good work.
On 3rd down, underneath Hardy, it's knocked away. And the coverage by Captain Munnerlyn. That'll bring the field goal unit on. Good coverage by 41 on 14.
It was. He plays it pretty well in real time. I wasn't sure if maybe he got there a little bit early. I like it that it's not a call. I think it's a really good play on his part. And Munnerlyn, he's had a pretty interesting last few weeks himself. Last time we had the Carolina Panthers, he was being disciplined and was inactive, but makes a good play there on 3rd down.
30-yard try by Bryant. 29 of 34 for the year. Good snap, good hold, good kick by the 42-year-old. Atlanta back on top. Touchdown reversed to an incompletion. Lead is 3. it for the Atlanta Falcons, a win, and they're in. They lead by 3. It's the Falcons worrying about the Seahawks. Seahawks trail by 6 mid-third at home to Arizona. It's the Panthers worrying about New Orleans. If New Orleans were to lose that game and the Panthers win here in Atlanta, Carolina wins the NFC South. That means a game at home next week. We know the top 2 seeds in the NFC are Philadelphia without Carson Wentz and Minnesota with Case Keenum at quarterback. Strive for the Panthers will start at the 25.
Interesting story there in Minnesota with the season that they had, starting the year 2-2, and of course relying on Case Keenum and the way that he's been able to play. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, he's been remarkable, and if you get to know him at all, or heck, you can get to know him a little bit through the sound bites, he is an easy guy to root for. Instead, it's Newton who keeps and gets spun down by Tack McKinley. Here's Kurt with a game break.
Well, you mentioned Seattle drawing closer against Arizona. Here's how it happened. Russell Wilson, 18-yarder to Doug Baldwin. You know the scenario very well. Seattle, if they lose, Atlanta's in. Regardless, it's a fight. Joe Troidet.
Fun to pay attention to these other games as we play here in Atlanta. Good game, 10-7. 2nd and 7. Newton down the middle, terrible throw, picked off by Allen. Newton is high again, and this ball was not close.
I thought he was going to work to his left with Greg Olsen over there. He had 101, and instead they've got verticals to the trip side. And I don't know where Cam Newton was throwing this ball. I mean, usually you can have an idea as to who the intended target was, but it's nowhere near Burson, and there wasn't a receiver anywhere close to that football.
That is only the 6th interception by the Atlanta Falcons all year, and only the 3rd by a defensive back. The 1st of the year for Ricardo Allen, and what a time for it. Plows ahead for a first down through Darryl Worley.
But Ricardo Allen will not have an easier interception if he plays 10 more years in this league. You're right, those takeaways have been awfully hard to come by, especially the interceptions. They are so much improved defensively from where they were a year ago, with the exception of giving the ball to their offense with great field position, and like you said, what a time to do it.
Here's a toss to Coleman running right. Let's go back to the interception.
Yeah, here's where I thought Cam Newton was going to work when they broke the line of scrimmage. I thought they were going to work him, and then they've got a one-on-one here. And instead, he's going to the trip side with verticals up the field on slants, and it's nowhere near Funchess, and then if it's Burson, it's behind him. And like Ron Rivera talked about early in this game, balls were sailing a little bit on him. That clearly was what happened on that play.
Charles Johnson, fresh off his 4-game suspension, came across too early.
Neutral zone to Jackson. Defense number 95. Unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Field second down.
The Carolina Panthers are the least penalized team in the NFL. That's their first penalty of the game, and it belongs to the veteran, 11-year pro out of Georgia, Charles Johnson.
Well, Charles Johnson back in the lineup after serving a 4-game suspension, and I know Rivera, he expects him to have an impact. We haven't called his name with the exception of that penalty. Comes home to Atlanta.
Toss to Coleman running left. What a good play by Worley. Takes the legs out. 26 on 26, and Tevin Coleman goes down. Loss of 5.
Watching Worley coming into this game, he is someone who will stick his shoulder in there like he just did. It brings up a 3rd down, and this would be big for this Carolina defense if they're able to make a big stop here after giving the ball to Atlanta with such good field position.
3rd down and 7. Showing blitz, and they come with it. Batted down. K1 short. Freeman looked like the target, and Short got his hands up. Big number 99 to force a field goal try again. Bryant just hit from 30. This from 42. Timeout taken by Rivera, and he is hot. Fired up, upset he has to take a timeout in this situation, defending a field goal. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Rivera took a timeout. He didn't have all 11 out on the field. 42-yard try here by Bryant. Kick is perfect. The lead is 6 after the pick. Points off the turnover. Dan Quinn up 13-7. Well, welcome back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This place is gorgeous. $1.5 billion. That's what it costs. The Georgia Dome in rubble next door. This home has been loud today for the Falcons, and their lead is 6. A win, and they're in. Seahawks are down by 6 at home at the moment to Arizona. To the 25 it will come. As Fozzie Whitaker takes a knee, and we will give you the long-range view of 2 plaid jackets here in Atlanta. Joe Buck and the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. And I don't know, I'll ask you, it's been a tight game, it's been a fun game, but really hadn't been too sharp for either side.
No, it has not. I think Carolina defensively right there to have the turnover and then keep it a 1-possession game, certainly huge. But you know, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, you're looking at this saying, hey, they're inching closer to that 20-point mark, and when they score 20 points, they win. They're 9-0 when they score 20 points, and they're 0-6 when they score less than 20 points. But it has been a fight, really, for both of these offenses to get going.
Newton able to stay upright. Out to his right he goes, and then dives forward across the 30.
This Atlanta defense, I talked about how much they have improved from a year ago, and you know, they like to lock up, and they've got the guys that are capable of doing that, and it's been fun to watch the improvement that we've seen from a year ago. And the guy who they've been able to lock down in this game has been Christian McCaffrey. A guy who they worry about mostly as a receiver. He has 3 catches, but just for 5 yards.
Second and 3. Newton throws it away. Olsen was out there as the target. Now you talk about the last time the Panthers had it, the interception by Ricardo Allen. This was an Atlanta team that went to the Super Bowl obviously last year, but they were plus 11 in the turnover margin. They came into this game -5, and they were, because of that, not getting drives that started in opponent's territory, as you talked about, not having short fields. It was a big pickoff by Ricardo Allen.
They haven't had the defensive scores this year either that they were able to accumulate last season.
Third down and 3. McCaffrey, good throw, but no catch. And McCaffrey was looking at the first down sticks. instead of making the grab. It's 4th down.
Looked like a ball that maybe was out in front of him a little bit. He's trying to one-hand it, sure enough, and he looked like he had it and then just not able to finish it off. So they get a nice gain on 1st down, only to see the drive end and force yet another punt.
It's a 4th 3 and out for Carolina on offense. Falcons about to get it back as they lead by 6. Line drive punt by Pilardi. Roberts from inside the 20. Mayo first to get there. And then Russell Shepard cleans up on the stop. A 10-yard return. Falcons with a football and a 6-point lead. You look at the offensive leaders for Atlanta with scores changing around the league in this week 17. We'll get to some of that. Matt Ryan, who came in 2-2 in the month of December, completing 57% of his passes. Quarterback rating of under 75. He's had a couple of good drives, not much in between them though, and not a lot of traction offensively for Atlanta. Meanwhile, Andre Roberts was hurt after that punt return. Took him a while to get up along that sideline, and they're looking at him over on the bench. Here's Freeman. Freeman with a nice carry on 1st down, gets 5.
Well, they've just, to go back to your point, Joe, that's Freeman's best run of the day. At 5 yards. They've had a hard time getting the running game going, and you knew that was going to be a challenge coming in, but it sure puts a burden on that offensive line trying to protect Matt Ryan in the pocket. But what we're seeing Steve Sarkisian get back to, that opening drive to start this game, a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Then they lost Taylor Gabriel. And now they've worked Justin Hardy in the last possession. They got him back in now, and that seems to be the package they like best.
Ryan looking for help, finds a man, Hardy over the middle. Looked like the ball almost got ripped out. Mike Adams was giving that a go, a catch and run of 15 yards.
Let's take a look at it, but excellent job of just recognizing, he almost lost it, but recognizing the hole within that zone and sitting down and giving your quarterback a good target. And Gabriel is a really talented guy, and I always say your receiving core is only as good as your 3rd guy, and when Gabriel's that person, that's pretty good. And we know what Sanu and, of course, Julio Jones are capable of doing.
Cost to Freeman, nothing, lost a yard. This is getting more interesting, Troy, and maybe more so for Carolina. The Seahawks are losing by 9 at the moment at home to Arizona. If the Seahawks lose, the Falcons are in. But the Saints are now trailing by 3 at Tampa Bay, and if they lose and Carolina wins, Carolina gets the home game because they win the South.
Yeah, and you wonder if anyone's relaying that to Ron Rivera. Of course, he's doing all he can to win, but I thought coming into this weekend that would be a tough game for the Saints. Coming off a big game last week against the Falcons, Tampa Bay has played a lot of close games,
including last week against Carolina. Sanu with a catch and run inside the 40.
That's close. There's the flag. I was wondering if it was going to come in. Jarris Byrd, he comes in with a late hit. I think that's the right call.
As it is a 16-yard completion plus.
Personal foul. Defense number 31. Late hit. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Dangerous hit from the 3-time Pro Bowler, getting a chance to play Kirk Coleman. Typically the free safety for Carolina is inactive today with a bad ankle.
Yeah, Sanu's a defenseless player on the ground, and when that is the case, you can't come in and hit him in the head or neck area, and you see the frustration on Ron Rivera's face, knowing that was just a penalty that didn't need to happen.
Moves the ball to the 21. Under 30 to go, clock running. Winding down quarter number 3. Ryan out to his right, throws it away. With 3 seconds left in the quarter.
They're trying to lock down Julio Jones, and pretty good job there by Colin Jones. Kurt Coleman, remember, he is not playing today. He's injured and was inactive, so Colin Jones, he's getting some of the opportunity there at safety.
There's Coleman, who hopefully will be over his ankle injury before a playoff game next weekend. 2nd and 10. Hand off to Coleman, and he is knocked down by K'Wan Short. It'll be 3rd and long when we start the 4th quarter, with the Falcons up by 6. Back after this from your local Fox station. 4th quarter begins with a 3rd down, 3rd and 10. Inside field goal range are the Atlanta Falcons as they try to win and not have to worry about what Seattle does at home against Arizona.
Well, Matt Ryan, he's a veteran. He knows the situation. This is a big down, but 3 points are big right now at this point in the game.
Quick throw to Sanu, looking for blocks. Reached for it, but didn't look like he got the first down, and they are going to mark him a yard short. 4th down.
They almost got it too, and a safe throw and get it out quick. And
Jarris Byrd, who had that late hit on Sanu not long ago, is the one that hangs on and just brings him down short.
Yeah, just enough. And see what Matt Bryant's able to do here.
No decision, or at least an easy one for Dan Quinn. This to make it a 9-point game. 30-yard try, and it's drilled by Matt Bryant. But the last 3 Atlanta drives, Carolina's had 3rd down stops to force these field goals to keep it a 9-point game. When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinion that cuts through the hype. Catch Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. Weekdays at 5 Eastern only on FS1. Would you be encouraged, Troy Aikman, if you are the Atlanta Falcons and Dan Quinn with this performance here today, knowing you need a win to get in, forgetting about the help with regard to Seattle, knowing that they're trying to win their first game of the year, potentially scoring less than 20 points, and it's just been a weird year for Dan Quinn's team.
Well, it's just been so inconsistent. You feel good about the way your defense is playing, and offensively you really wanted to come out today and blow the roof off this place, with a crowd who is really ready to celebrate something, but the offense has just been held back. Now they're facing a really good Carolina defense, but a lot of inconsistencies here today have continued.
Shepard takes a knee in the end zone. Kurt, give us a game break.
Well, the door is open for the Panthers to win the South the way New Orleans is playing right now. This is a punt return. Tommy Lee Lewis gets stripped by Josh Robinson of the Bucs. Isaiah Johnson recovers it for a touchdown. Tampa Bay leads it 20-17 in the 4th quarter.
Kurt, thanks. At the start of the day, New Orleans and Carolina each with 11-4 records, but New Orleans beat Carolina head-to-head twice, so they have the tiebreaker. But a loss there and a win here by Carolina, they get a home game. But Carolina trails by 9. McCaffrey, not much of a factor in this one yet. Out to the 30. Aaron Andrews.
Joe, just watching Adrian Claiborne here on the bench, very emotional, tears coming out of his eyes. Earlier he was over here on the sidelines kind of trying to stretch out. It looked to either be his calf or his ankle. No word from Atlanta yet what's wrong with him. He was speaking with Dan Quinn, and as you can see, just absolutely overcome with emotion.
7-year pro out of Iowa. We were here in this stadium when he overtook the Dallas Cowboys with a 6-sack game, but obviously injured on that sideline, not able to go. Here's a mishandle on the handoff to Cameron Artis-Payne. Second time, in essence, that's happened in this game. Third down coming up.
Well, look, this offense all year has not been one that just runs up and down the field on anybody. 8 times this year they've been held to less than 300 yards. That's not a good pocket, and it's not a quarterback looking the ball into the running back's stomach, and yet here they are in the fourth quarter, and they barely have 130 yards of total offense. It's hard to win football. We saw Seattle do it last week against the Cowboys, but they've got to get something going.
No first downs this half for Carolina. This one downfield, Funchess, what a catch! And Devin Funchess down at the 28, working on Trufant. A completion of 44 yards.
Yeah, a little bit of an out and up. You're going to see Funchess, he starts like he may start to the sideline, and it was enough that he's able to run by Trufant, and that's kind of saying something because Trufant can really run, but the ball was put in a perfect position. And it just seems like Funchess, ever since Kelvin Benjamin was traded, that certainly has elevated his play, but when they've needed a play, he seems to be a guy who does it.
Quarterback run to the right. Cam Newton will take it to the 21. Prior to that 44-yard completion to Funchess, which is the longest play of the day for either side, Cam Newton was 8 for 21, 70 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But right now there's some life for the Carolina Panthers because of this.
Well, I do believe that this is a team that, and it's because of Cam Newton. They don't think they're ever out of it. As bad as it's been, one big play, and all of a sudden you are right back in this ball game, in field goal range. They can immediately make it into a one-possession game.
McCaffrey's going to lose yards, and it's Grady Jarrett again. Panthers have no answer up front for Grady Jarrett.
No, this is Ryan Khalil. He just completely whiffs. No truck driver got there again.
And it brings up 3rd and 6. 201 yards rushing week 9 against Atlanta. 78 today for Carolina. Pass is incomplete for Olsen. Newton and Olsen not on the same page. We've seen that a few times in this game, whether you want to blame the receiver or the quarterback, but a lot of miscommunication.
Yeah, I'm not, clearly Cam Newton thought Olsen was going to do something different than he did, but yeah, when you're not on the same page in critical situations as they kind of try to figure this thing out, and not to give yourself an opportunity on a big 3rd down, disappointing.
42-yard try by Gano. He's only missed once all year. And it's a 6-point game. 1-score game in Atlanta. Falcons up 16-10.
Execution is the key today. Execution. How we link up together and play as a unit. One unit. Not 2, not 3, not 11. One unit that's come away with this win today.
Words from Cam Newton, but right now it's Atlanta on top by 6 after the Gano field goal. Good to see Andre Roberts back out there for the Falcons after being injured on the latest punt return effort. Ready to return the kick. We'll get into this playoff picture more as this fourth quarter unwinds. New Orleans is back on top in their game as they try to win the NFC South. So here it is. You look at the playoff picture in the hunt. Over on the far right, Seattle hoping for a win at home and a loss here by Atlanta. So far, not looking good on either front. Carolina has already clinched a playoff spot, but I'm intrigued by those top 2 teams. Philadelphia doesn't have Carson Wentz, looked terrible against Oakland. And they've got some stuff to figure out over the next 2 weeks. And Minnesota's a dangerous team. So are the Saints, who, as I said, are back on top down in Tampa Bay, Florida. This one is caught by Hooper, but a short gain as Kuechly brings him down.
Yeah, the one who I think is most interesting, Joe, is Philadelphia. Like you said, you lose Carson Wentz, who in all likelihood wins the league MVP if he doesn't get hurt. Who knows? Maybe he still will. But for #1 seed, they do appear to be very vulnerable and, struggling a little bit. Of course, they rested players today and did the right thing. But it certainly changed the balance of power when you lose your starting quarterback. I think a lot of these teams feel like, hey, we can just get in. Atlanta being one of those, we get in, then we can make something happen.
Ryan, Julio Jones spins for a first down and more into Carolina territory. Catch and run of 27.
That's really good. One-on-one outside, and you're going to see Worley. He comes up, just overplays it a little bit, and as Julio Jones spins back out towards the sideline, makes Worley whiff, and a big gain. Right now, Atlanta, they've had about enough of these field goals, and they want to put together a drive and punch this thing in the end zone, which they've had a hard time doing since first possession of the game.
Devontae Freeman, Luke Kuechly, Carissa Thompson with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. You mentioned the Saints back on top. Let me show you how this happened. Breeze drops back, finds Zach Line for a 3-yard touchdown. Saints leading this one 24-20. You know the deal. They win, and they win the NFC South. Joe?
And if the Rams don't come storming back against the suddenly unbeatable San Francisco 49ers, New Orleans, even though they lost in LA earlier this season, would go to 12-4, and they would be the #3 seed. 2nd and 8. Ryan, Freeman, first down.
Really good coverage across the board, but you just can't cover everybody all day long. And Freeman, once Ryan gets out of the pocket, he does a good job. He had just set up over the ball. But once Ryan starts to scramble, Freeman then runs along with him. Seems like something really simple. You'd be surprised how many receivers don't know what the quarterback's looking for once he gets outside the pocket, but Freeman gives him a place to go with the ball.
Tevin Coleman, how much? 2. Tackle by Munnerlyn. Falcons have gotten into Carolina territory all 4 possessions this half. The first 3 have resulted in Matt Bryant field goals instead of touchdowns.
This is a challenge for the offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, too, because with essentially no running game, you want to not only come away with points, but you also want to take time off the clock, and you're having to do it all through the air. A nice job of calling this game.
Falcons have rushed for 50 yards in the game so far. This one is nearly picked. After it went through the hands of Julio Jones, Colin Jones almost got it before it hit the turf.
Well, that has been a problem for the Falcons, and it's been a problem for Julio Jones. He leads the team now with 8 drops after that play. But that's one that should be relatively routine for him.
Hard to believe the Falcons, with all this talent, come into this game tied with the 49ers for the most drops in the league. And 7 of Matt Ryan's 12 interceptions have come off drop passes, off his receivers' hands into the hands of the opposition. 3rd and 8. Ryan in trouble, and down he goes. Kuechly is there. A loss of 6, and that pushes Matt Bryant out to the edge of field goal range.
Yeah, you're going to see Kuechly, but it's this outside pressure that forces Ryan to have to step up. Kuechly's kind of slow playing it a little bit, and then he kind of levels off, and once Ryan steps up in the pocket, he's there then to make a play. He cans Alex Mack, the center, and I tell you what, if he doesn't make this, not only is it still a one-possession game, but they're giving the ball to Carolina with outstanding field position.
56-yard try. Bryant is sensational. 8 of 9 on field goals, 50 yards plus. A big one. 56 yards, and the lead is back to 9. A look at the quarterback comparison today. Obviously, much better numbers for Matt Ryan, who's been knocked around today. He's been hit 13 times in this game. Trying to get a win, survive this battle with Carolina, get to the playoffs next week. They're so tired of hearing about Super Bowl hangover and the frustrating loss to New England in overtime after leading by 25 points. The only way to answer all that and erase that talk is to get back and do something in the postseason. First step is today. And the drive for Carolina down by 9 will start at 25. Here's the most recent hit on Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that was Luke Kuechly on that third down play. Came in and put the hit on him, and he has been roughed up pretty good. And there's two guys that have had quite a connection over the course of their career. But how about the kick by Matt Bryant? That was a clutch kick, and he's been doing it. He certainly has done it here this afternoon. But that sack, fortunately for the Falcons and Matt Ryan, did not impact that field goal. And Matt Bryant was clutch, put it right down the middle.
4 for 4 today is Bryant. 6.5 to go. This one nowhere close to bursting.
There are 4 red jerseys around 2 receivers for Carolina. But you think back to that big play to Funchess, which set up their last 3 points. You know, those have been hard to come by for opposing offenses against this Atlanta defense. One of the areas, I talked about it earlier, how much they've improved defensively. One of the areas where they've really improved the most is in not giving up the big plays. And right now, I can assure you, Dan Quinn is one to see this clock run and do not give up anything easy deep.
Cam Newton's completion percentage is 38%. And flags for a false start before the play.
False start. Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Talk about that 38% completion percentage for Cam Newton. He went 7 for 7 on the touchdown drive. That's really the only time in this game that he's had any rhythm or been able to find anybody. And even when he's had guys open, he has been very inaccurate.
Yeah, he's been off, and he's a streak passer. You know, he's like a three-point shooter in basketball that you're not always certain that he's going to be on the mark, and he's been off for the most part in this game.
Of 24 throwing it. Will pull it down and be happy to get across the 20. Courtney Upshaw. A gain of 1 on the play, so no sack. Tack McKinley comes out of there. John with Cam Newton. This kid's had a good rookie year, 6 sacks. And he is, I don't want to say undersized, but he is a guy who can really move.
Well, that defensive front, Joe, is loaded with a lot of first and second round picks. And you know, the blueprint for Dan Quinn is guys along that defensive line that can get after the quarterback. He's got some already, and he's found another in this year's rookie class, like you said, and Tack McKinley. That'll always be an area that they'll be building.
No urgency on the part of Carolina. Down by 9, another missed target. Olsen's been targeted 11 times. He has 1 catch. Let's go to Carissa with a game break.
And that's not what Seattle Seahawks fans want to see. How about this one? Seahawks down 6 in the 4th. Russell Wilson finds Doug Baldwin. Toe drag slack is what we're calling that, Joe. Seahawks lead this one 24-23.
So now Seattle goes on top. That means if they win, Atlanta has to win.
Yeah.
To get into the playoffs. And I want to amend something for Olsen. 7 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. That's it. He and Cam Newton are struggling. Line drive punt. Roberts good to corral it and out of bounds near the 30. 52-yard punt, 3 yards on the return. Falcons get it back, leading by 9.
Go back and take a look at that last third down play with Greg Olsen and Cam Newton, and you're going to see the Falcons 3rd and long. They're in zone coverage, and yet Olsen just continues to run. I'm not sure what that's about, and I'm not sure how they're coached or what exactly happened on the play, but usually you run versus man coverage, you set it down versus zone, and Cam's looking for somewhere to go with the ball, and Olsen continues to run. But that's just some of the things that I've seen in this game that have kept them from being on the same page.
Up by 9 with Seattle winning at home. Atlanta needing a win to get into the postseason. A handoff to Tevin Coleman gets 2. Colin Jones on the tackle.
Well, they're going to try to. They got a 9-point lead, 5 minutes and counting, and they're going to try to run the clock down, take time off the clock, and hopefully continue to hand it off. But that has not been a formula that's worked so far in this game.
Good to see Tack McKinley moving around well over on the sideline. He was nicked up after that last 3rd down play. Quick throw to Sanu. Stays in bounds. Short gain brought down by Worley. A gain of just 1, so 3rd down coming.
Yeah, just trying to use that quick passing game as basically an extended handoff, but Mohamed Sanu, he's smart in that he understands that he's got to keep in bounds, and that's good work. Now we'll see a big 3rd down and one that Carolina just simply has to make if they're going to claw back into this.
Timeout taken by Carolina, so they have only 1 left. 1 timeout remaining for Carolina in a 9-point game and a 3rd down and 7. And I think what bears repeating as we welcome you into the booth, Joe and Troy, is what you said. Maybe more than any year you and I can remember. We talked about it before the game. The NFC is wide open. If you get in, I think you have a legitimate chance to say we could end up in Super Bowl 52.
And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens next week, because I don't ever recall an NFC package when you're going into the postseason that so much has been on the line week 17 for seeding, and then these, trying to get in, and Seattle playing, and these teams like Atlanta, assuming they win, and New Orleans having to win today, are they able to come back next week in that wild card round and put it together and continue to play at a high level? Although I wouldn't say this has been a high level offensively for Atlanta.
Here's a drop, another drop as Sanu. Ball might have been maybe a tad underthrown to make an excuse, but that was in the hands of Mohamed Sanu, and Ryan comes off shaking his head as the clock is stopped with this. 4:29 left. Yeah, got to be caught. Wasn't even underthrown.
Yeah, well, you saw the frustration there on Matt Ryan's face and talking to himself as he comes off the field. And hey, Sanu's now punishing himself doing push-ups, but but you understand, as these games each and every week, we see that this thing's far from being over.
Kalen Clay from inside the 20, a little bobble, and out of bounds near the 25. 48-yard punt, 7-yard return, and back on offense is Cam Newton. Win, lose or draw today for Cam Newton in this Carolina offense. They're going to play next week, whether it's at home or on the road. Right now it looks like on the road. This is not a good offensive day to launch yourself into the postseason with what we've seen from the Panthers.
No, this is tough. I mean, speaking as a quarterback going into postseason, you're completing 36% of your passes. It's not where you want to be, of course, and it makes for a tough week when you're supposed to be confident playing at your best.
Here's one high again, picked off the hand of Olsen into the arms of Keanu Neal, and that could very well wrap it up. Cam Newton has been high with throws all day, and this one gets him again.
Yeah, high and behind. He had a chance if he's able to lead Olsen. It's zone coverage, and he's got to get past Deion Jones there in the middle. He's starting to, but then the ball's high and behind, and a tip ball. And hey, Dan Quinn, you know, now with 2 interceptions is thrilled because they've only had 5 coming into this game, and that's been a disappointment.
Well, these two have been so good over the years, but all day long. Number 1 thrown to number 88. And this looks like early training camp right now, not week 17. Granted, Olsen missed 8 games and then a subsequent game because of the foot injury. But those two are too good together for this. What a move by Freeman. James Bradbury just got spun around and frozen.
They have a term for that, but that's awfully good right there. And Devontae Freeman, it's been a rough couple weeks, like we said, with him putting the ball on the ground. He's been certainly utilized in this game. That's a great move.
Carolina with only 1 timeout left. Remember, they had to waste one on an Atlanta field goal try. They didn't have enough men on the field. Freeman back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down coming, and again, Devontae Freeman, a little bit of a limp coming off to the sideline as Mike Adams made that stop. Under 3 to go. Tevin Coleman to the 15. Where it will be 4th down, and the MVP of this game, Matt Bryant, could get another crack at a field goal here. Timeout taken by Carolina. They are out of timeouts. He's 4 for 4, just hit from 56. He's 33 of 38 for the year and 8 of 9 from 50 yards and beyond. And he's 42. He's been doing this
Doing it a long time.
16 years.
Yeah, and his teammates kind of got on him after that last one, that clutch kick that he made to make it a 9-point lead. He was emotionless, and they finally got him to crack a smile. But we'll see. We'll see if maybe he's got a little bit more of a reaction if he puts this one through.
Come on, Matt, smile. This is extra point distance, where he's been 35 of 35 in extra points this year.
Close to getting a free 1st down.
Is he smiling? Come on.
Nope. There it is. A little bit.
A little bit. A little bit of a smile. 5 for 5 is Matt Bryant. About a recap. Impressive start to the day. Opening drive for Atlanta. They took it down the field. 19-yard touchdown on a catch and run by Devontae Freeman. Then a touchdown late in the first half from Newton to Funchess, but doing a lot more of that. Only one big play to Devin Funchess down the field, and then it's been a lot of Matt Bryant. This blistered through from 56 yards out by Bryant, and then more points off a turnover on that high throw by Newton to Olsen led to 3 more points. They're at the magic 20-point barrier, 22 points. You see, when they scored 20 or more, they're 9-0 this year, and they are on their way back to the playoffs, on their way to their 10th win of the year. we're beating a dead horse with this with regard to the completion percentage and the day for Cam Newton, but right now he's working on a career low. His career low is 35.7%. He's at 34.5%. 9 for 26, 114 yards, 2 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 30. Down by 12. And Dixon with his first catch of the day for a first down. Deion Jones on the tackle. Two-score game, not a ton of urgency here. We'll be at the 2-minute warning at the end of this one. High throw, but caught by Dixon, and with 1:58 remaining, the clock will stop, and we'll take a break. First down for Carolina, down by 12. Back after this. Well, along with our producer, Richie Zients, our director, Rich Russo, we welcome you back to Atlanta. 1:58 remaining. Glad you're with us here in week 17. There's still seeding to be determined. It appears that's about all that's left out there. And talking about the 3, 4, and 5 seeds and where everybody sits at the end of the day. New Orleans has a lead, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are moving the ball. Meanwhile, Atlanta leading by 12 here at home over Carolina. Newton out to his left. Will hop out of bounds. Short of first down yardage. Stops the clock with 1:49 left after a gain of 8.
He had a chance. Once he got outside the pocket, he had Brenton Burson, who was working the middle of the field. He just wasn't comfortable getting his feet set and trying to deliver the ball, but it's Atlanta. They'll let Cam Newton run around a little bit right now.
Panthers out of timeouts, down 2 scores. Burson with a first down at the 36, a gain of 9.
Comes Atlanta. They're bringing in a fresh set of pass rushers, and they've got some depth along that defensive front where they can do that. Takk McKinley, he just came back in. He's at the top of the screen.
Newton goes down. Sacked with Vic Beasley.
Good work right here. He's got the wide rush, and he's able to get past Darrell Williams. McKinley, he's also back there. Good job by Beasley. I know it's been a frustrating year for him, coming off 15.5 sacks last year. Missed a little bit of time, but comes up with a nice play.
Clock is running, 1:10. Loss of 8 on the sack. Here is McCaffrey. Gets a big hit inside the 30. The Rams lost today. If New Orleans hangs on and beats Tampa Bay, they'll go to the number 3 seed and would likely play Atlanta unless something changes dramatically here. That means it's the Rams and Carolina. McCaffrey inside the 10, first and goal.
If that ends up happening, if that's the matchup, Falcons-Saints, that'll be the 3rd meeting between the 2 teams in the last 5 weeks.
Well, right now, Tampa Bay just went ahead of New Orleans. New Orleans is trailing now with under 10 seconds to play. Crazy. And if that's the case, and if Atlanta wins this game, then nothing changes with the top 6 seeds in the NFC. The Rams stay number 3. New Orleans number 4, Carolina 5. Atlanta would be the number 6 seed. Only 21 seconds left. . 1 Olsen guilty of a false start.
False start. Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Well, that's Greg Olsen's second false start today, too.
So it moves the ball back outside the 10. They mark it at the 14-yard line. Second and goal, 21 ticks left on the clock. Second and goal, end zone, nothing there. Well covered was Olsen. With Deion Jones and Keanu Neal combining to bracket big number 88.
Pretty good coverage on Olsen. That was nothing short of a miracle if they were able to complete that one. He draws a lot of attention down here in the red zone.
Tampa Bay's lead at home now over New Orleans is 7 with under 10 to play. Another false start.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Matt Khalil guilty with 16 seconds left. We talked to Ron Rivera about his game plan coming in with regard to rest for some of the veterans. If New Orleans was winning big, he was going to treat this as a game to get some rest. He has not had that luxury, and the Panthers may still be stuck in that number 5 seed spot. End zone, picked off, intercepted by Alford. The Falcons came into this game with 5 interceptions over 15 games. And they have 3 interceptions in this game alone. All 3 by defensive backs. They had only 2 by DBs coming in 15 games.
Alford plays that ball very well. He's cluing into the quarterback. He sees it in flight, and then he beats Funchess to the point. And yeah, you're right. I mean, a defense that really has played pretty well all year long, except for takeaways. And they come away with 3 interceptions in this game. They'll go into the postseason feeling awfully good.
For those of you just joining us, you just have seen the last snap here in Week 17. And Dan Quinn's NFC champion Atlanta Falcons team from a year ago just stamped their ticket back to the postseason with a rather definitive win over their divisional rival, the Carolina Panthers. A final of 22-10. And nothing changed with the seeding here in Week 17 from how we came in. We'll come back and wrap it up after this.